Thank you for staying with us. In our first story, 5 people have been shot, including the Dakbema na Fuseni Bawa, a chief in Tamale. The victims are currently receiving treatment at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. There has been seeming tension in the Tamale metropolis over the past 1 month over who is the chief of Tamale. While the Gulkupena says he is the chief of Tamale, the Dakbema also holds himself as the chief of Tamale. Recently, the Yana passed a verdict on who is the chief of Tamale and asked the Dakbema not to hold himself as the chief of Tamale. He also ordered that he stopped beating the talking drum, which is a sign that one is a chief. Speaking to the media, the Northern Regional Crime Officer Superintendent Bernard Baba Ananga said the 5 are currently in stable condition. He said the police are treating the incident as a crime.
Good morning. Today, that is the 7th of March 2022, at about 0555 hours, the command's attention was drawn to a shooting incident at the Kema Palace this morning, and that a group of people on a Toyota pickup, white in color, raided the palace, fired indiscriminately, and then the chief was hit. As we speak, 5 people sustained gunshot wounds. The chief was hit himself, and they are currently at the hospital. That's a Tamale Teaching Hospital, undergoing treatment. Police visited them and then found the chief stable, but responding to treatment. And we have also made some deployment of policemen at the chief palace, as well as some protection for those that are injured. That's currently what we have for you. I spoke to the chief, and he indicated that he was shot at. I also saw injury to his stomach and the head. However, he's doing well at the hospital too.
How many people are you on a manhunt for?
For the information that we have, about 15 of them and on a white Toyota Hilux pickup. So we have 15, and we believe there were others too as well. Maybe the numbers may be higher than that. So we will make sure that we pursue them and get them arrested.
You said as you are about to arrest, how soon is this taking place?
As soon as. Criminals are saying that as soon as they commit the offenses, we need to gather intelligence. We need, as we are picking the pieces. We also, you two will not go and sit down and come and say that, come and arrest me. By all means, they will go into hiding. And we will also pick some intelligence about some locations which we deem fit. We will keep it to ourselves. The MedSec, as well as ResSec, visited the various chief palaces and then spoke to them, and they gave the assurance that they will use the proper channel to address their issues which they themselves have. So this one which came, as you are saying, is being investigated. We are not saying that yes, it came from A to B or whatever. We are pursuing this as a crime. We are not attributing it to anybody yet, as investigations are still ongoing. These are the initial stages, and will come out appropriately.
Let's go to the grounds now. Martina Bugri, our Northern Region correspondent, joins us for more. Martina, can you first describe what's the mood like in Tamale right now?
Currently, what we have some patrol teams moving through the town, especially around the Dakim from where the incident happened this morning. And we have not just the police, we've also seen the military as well patrolling the area. And so even though there are still seeming tension, but if you move outside the location where the incident happened, the area is normal, I should say.
And how are the injured faring?
We are currently at the Tamale Teaching Hospital where they are on admission, and the PRO just arrived a while ago. He says that he will speak with the medical team and give us the details. But earlier on, when I spoke to the regional crime officer, Superintendent Baba Nanga, he said that they had visited them and they were in stable condition.
So, Martina, can you just explain the source of this conflict?
Welcome. So there have been seeming tension in the metropolis between two chiefs, the Dakwema and the Gukwena, over who has the authority to call himself the chief of Tamale. And it's not today this incident has started, or it's today that we are having something like that. It's been held in the past, but on a keynote. But it heightened this month when the Gukwena's palace issued a statement that the Yana had directed that the Dakwema stop carrying himself as the chief of Tamale and also stop drumming, especially the talking drum in his palace. And that was, they said, the verdict that the Yana gave. And so he was supposed to have stopped that. But a Friday to the press conference they had held, they said he had drummed, and that means he had violated what the Yana had said. They had given the the Metro Security Council and the security 3 days to evacuate the talking drums, or they themselves would take action. And so as we speak now, the police say they are treating it as a crime, and they are not attributing it to any chieftaincy issue yet.
And have you been speaking to any residents? What have they been saying?
Yes, the residents said that they were, some said they were just in their homes this morning when they saw some men and a pickup arrive, and they came into the compound and shot a motorbike that was in the compound, and that went into flames, and they started shooting indiscriminately. As to what happened and the shooting started, they are unable to tell.
All right, before I let you go, Martina, do you know how many people the police are looking for?
The police said they are looking for 15 people currently.
Okay.
But it's possible that the number could increase because they have intel that there are more than 15 who are involved in this shooting.
All right. That is correspondent Martina Bugri in the northern region, and she's been giving us an update of what's been happening there about the chieftaincy dispute, where we know that 4 people have been shot. Now let's go to the Ashanti region, where former mayor of Kumase, Kojo Bonsu, has asked for the blessings of the Asante Hene in his quest to emerge the first Ashanti flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress. He told Otumfuo of his desire to increase the fortunes of the opposition party to bring the presidency home to Kumase after the 2024 election. Kojo Bonsu was at the Manshia Palace for the Kwasadai Festival and to officially announce his intention to run for the NDC flag bearership slot this year. Love FM's Rasta Sasari Donko was there and now reports.
Dementia Palace marked Akwesi Day on Sunday with a deba of chiefs. A number of institutions and individuals paid homage to the king, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II. Supported by a number of market queens and party supporters, former mayor of Kumase, Kojo Bonsu, came before the Asante Hene to announce his intention to run for the flag bearer slot of the NDC when nominations are opened. I'm here today to tell Otumfuo that when the time is due, I will also go and contest for the flag bearership slot of the NDC. He said no Ashanti has assumed the highest leadership of the NDC before and prayed for Otumfuo's support.
NDC party no.
I'm praying for his support. When he is pouring libation, I'm pleading that he should pray for me so I can go out there and contest and win and bring the presidency to Ashanti region. In fact, no Ashanti has ever held the flag bearership position of the NDC. I want to be the first to do that. The announcement by Kojo Bonsu drew cheers from the gathering. 2 of the market women later explained to Love News why they support his move.
Kojo Bonsu began building the Kumasi Kejitia market. So this is the time to support him. And no Akan has won the presidency from the NDC.
That's why Bano so pre-president
The Ashanti region has been neglected by the party we supported. So if Kojo Bonsu wants to run for the flag bearer for the NDC to bring some development in the region, we will support him.
Reporting for JoyNews, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
An interesting development that our political desk will be following on. Let's move on to other stories now. Let us guard jealousy, the peace and stability we are enjoying. The words of President Nana Akufo-Addo as he charged those clamoring for a military takeover in Ghana. Speaking at the 65th Independence Day anniversary at Cape Coast in the Central Region, the president expressed worry that some restless spirits are seeking to exploit the current difficulties confronting the nation to push a parochial agenda of wielding power. According to the president, such tendencies are unhealthy for Ghana's stability.
There are some restless spirits amongst us who, seeking to exploit the current difficulties confronting the nation, claim to have lost confidence in our democratic system to effect a peaceful constitutional change in the governance of our state. Either the absence of faith in the prospects of a democratic alternative to the current government, or their impatience to wield executive authority are the factors driving their appetite for the shortcut of military intervention. Whatever be the case, they seem ready to jeopardize the hard-won reputation of our country as a beacon of democracy and stability in Africa, and indeed in the world, in order to gratify their personal ambitions which show little or no respect for the capacity of the Ghanaian people to change, when necessary, their government peacefully through the ballot box, something they have done on 3 separate occasions in the 29-year life of the Fourth Republic. The great majority of us who are committed to democratic values and democratic institutions will continue to resist the claims of these adventurers and employ all legitimate means in a democracy to maintain our free, open system of governance, which is respectful of human rights, the rule of law, and the principles of democratic accountability. Ghana deserves to put the initial decades of perhaps understandable turbulence and instability in her history firmly behind her, to enable the development of our nation to proceed in conditions of freedom, order, peace, and stability, which have been the happy hallmarks of the Fourth Republic.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo is urging Ghanaians to support the government in advancing the vision of Ghana beyond aid. According to the president, less than 10% of the Ghanaian population pay taxes, a situation that slows the pace of growth across the country. The president, who was speaking at the 65th National Independence Day celebration in Cape Coast, says if Ghana is to bounce back better, it will require the concerted support of all citizens. He argues this is what developed countries do.
But truth be told, our tax to GDP ratio of 12.2% compares unfavorably with our peers the world over. Less than 10% of the Ghanaian population, i.e. 2.4 million people, carry the direct tax burden of 30.8 million people. The Asian tigers whom we envy and emulate and want to emulate finance their rapid development from their own savings. We need to do the same and alter our fiscal profile We must move Ghana to a situation beyond aid. That is a Ghana which is no longer dependent on the benevolence or charity of foreign taxpayers and donors for the management of our public finances. It is doable. We want to transform Ghana into a world-class economic hub which will benefit every single Ghanaian.
Political scientist and lecturer at the KNUST, Dr. Kwesi Amachi, says the lack of vision and the country's quest for development has left citizens clueless in what they ought to do to contribute their quota to national development. Speaking on the AM show, Dr. Amachi said political accountability remains a major challenge for the nation.
If there were to have been any vision or a visionary in the Fourth Republic of Ghana, this would have been clear to Ghanaians. People would easily be pointing to that vision and would have been able to find out their role or roles in that vision.
So in effect, just to clarify, our leaders in the Fourth Republic have not been visionary or not been visionary enough.
Ben, to me, the bane of our system now is the challenge of political accountability. If politicians can come into office, get out and get away with everything they do, I mean, their inability to account for the huge amount of money they bring in through loans, then we are in trouble. And this is, to me, the challenge. People who dissipate public funds, which come out every year. And then the system, you see, some people think that we should go in for a constitutional review or even
Let's go to the Oti region now, where some members of the governing New Patriotic Party NPP in the Bayakoyo constituency, they have expressed their anger over what they describe as a ploy to impose executives on them. These members from 25 polling stations, numbering about 2,700, were denied the right to elect the executives on Saturday as the constituency election committee members failed to conduct elections in their areas. They have therefore called on the party's national and regional executives to ensure polling station elections are held in their areas as prescribed by the party's constitution.
Members of the New Patriotic Party from 25 polling stations in the Tepa Abuchuasi and Tepa Amanya areas gathered at their respective election centers, eager to elect their executives on Saturday. However, the Biakuye Election Committee failed to show up to organize polls to give opportunity to the members to select their desired candidates. The agitated members said they smell foul play since the committee earlier denied some aspirants in the same polling stations access to nomination forms. They explained that the aspirants had to pick nomination forms at the national headquarters in Accra, submitted and were cleared to contest without being vetted by the committee.
Emra, Edwin said, "Yabe election, almost say yankoto forms. Forms and that executives no forms no bahano. Ntokwana wabe koso oma my forms nanto."
We could not buy the nomination forms when the executives came here because there was confusion. We managed to get the forms at the national headquarters and submitted them. They accepted the forms and scheduled today for the elections. We have been here since 8 o'clock, but the committee members have failed to show up. The top hierarchy of the party must act now. Some 3 executives have hijacked the party. We want to ask if the NPP party belongs to an individual and his family. If we are not allowed to elect our police station executives in Tapa Alavanyo, we will leave the party and join a different one.
Na sa nkrofo no on babu no on be stay for 8 years
We haven't seen any significant improvement in the party during the 8 years administration of the constituency executives. They are selfish. That is why we are eager to elect new executives to help the NPP break the 8. Addressing the press, Prosper Asari believes the Biakuya Election Committee is scheming to deny them their rights to elect their executives following a no-show on Saturday.
Is this a calculated attempt to deny us the right to elect our leaders, hereby imposing favorites on us to serve the selfish interests of a few at the detriment of the party? We are worried this development will cause disaffection in the party, which is gaining grounds in the NDC stronghold, and affect MPP's election fortunes. The aggrieved members, numbering over 2,700, are therefore calling on President Akufo-Addo, the MPP General Secretary John Boadu, the MPP Chairman Freddie Blay, to call the committee to order and ensure elections are held in these affected polling stations. If this election is not done, we will assume that these affected polling stations do not have delegates to represent them in the constituency elections or any party activity.
Fred Kwame Asari, JoyNews, Tapa Abotuasi.
You're welcome back. Now, authorities at the Castle Road Special School in Adabraka are appealing to the government to consider relocating the facility. The school shares the same compound with the Accra Psychiatric Hospital, which managers of the school say is not convenient for the special pupil. Now, the situation, coupled with limited accommodation facilities, according to the headmaster, is affecting intake and learning activities, hence for the call for its relocation. Samuel Mbura has more in this report.
The school, since its establishment in 1968, has relied on benevolence of individuals, groups and corporate bodies until recently it started receiving subventions from central government. Headmaster of the school, Frederick Amejake, is worried about the state of limited facilities to accommodate children with special needs.
We have about 36 students who are actually with the school, but because due to their nature, they cannot all come to school. So I can be about 10, as today they are about 7. Their condition will not permit them to come to school always because of their conditions, their medications. So this is the challenge. Normally, the hospital admits them. We don't admit from the community. But there has been a big challenge because most of them cannot come to school. So there was a need to admit children. And whenever parents also come here, they need boarding facilities. But we don't have boarding facilities. We only have the wards that the children are admitted into. And the wards are not too much enough. So admission is no longer taking place. So what we are planning now is that the school now should be relocated and given a boarding facilities.
The predicament of the Castle Road Special School came to light during a donation exercise by the Adabraka Exclusive Men's Club as part of its annual activities marking Independence Day celebration. Secretary of the club, Kobina Osei Bonsu, who made the donation on behalf of the chairman, Dr. James Ollins Linsley, said the move to support the school was in response to a distress call.
What we do annually is on 6 March, we do health screening. Normally, we cater for like 1,000 people on the 6th of March every year. But the rush in which people come for us to take care of them, we bring like 10 doctors, 20 nurses, pharmacists, everything, so that we cater for them. We see that when we do it this year, we might not be able to adhere to the protocols of the COVID-19. So we decided to change a bit. But then we didn't want to take the program out of Adabraka. So we asked the assemblyman for the area to look for an orphanage or a place in Idi where they would need a few things. So he got us those places and they wrote to us. And they gave us a tall list for us to provide them with these things that you see here. And we told our members, and wholeheartedly, they donated so much for us to get you the things that we have here with them. And we've assured them that, listen, they should make sure that things go to the children.
The Ad Exclusive Men's Club has been in existence for the past 20 years with its main objective of supporting the vulnerable in society. It is a closed group of 35 members based in Adabraka, consisting of businessmen, corporate executives and ordinary citizens. The donated items included significant quantities of toiletries, food items, bottled drinks, books, water, footballs and food items, bales of fools, office materials and cash sum of 2,000 cedis. Assembly member of Adabraka North Electoral Area, Abdul Mumuni Maikaino, used the opportunity to call on authorities to help deal with the growing insecurity situations in the area by fixing the street light. For Joy News, Samuel Mbura, Accra.
Chairman of Parliament's Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, Kwame Anyamadu Entry, says the law that punishes attempted suicide may soon be removed from Ghana's statute books as it is more of a mental health issue. Speaking at a national conference on decriminalization of petty offences organized by the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, he said his committee will be doing an assessment of some of the minor offences and will subsequently recommend their removal. Petty offences such as loitering, hawking, begging for alms, amongst others, are considered as misdemeanors and are punishable by fine or up to 3 years prison term in Ghana.
I quite remember there was a time that two ladies went to fetch water from the village, riverside, and they fought on their way. And the police charged them act tending to disturb the peace of the public. The question was how many people were at the site and were being disturbed. I cannot agree with the chairman more when he says that it leads to the corruption of the security forces and also leads to the congestion of our prisons. Because if you do not get somebody, a lawyer, who will defend some of these cases, then they will be thrown in prison without any defense. My colleague had already mentioned that there is a wake-up call for the private members' bill in Parliament. As the chairman of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, I deem it a responsibility that we need to actually peruse through these laws, our criminal code, and see the way forward. Probably recommend that some of them must be given some lesser punishment or probably be eradicated from our books. At the moment, the committee is discussing an offense which we see as a serious offense, and that is attempted suicide, for instance. The committee has been educated to actually agree that it should rather be seen as a mental illness instead of a crime. And very soon, the committee will be settling on this matter and probably get it out of our statute book.
It's now time for sports, and my favorite person, Muftau, joins me. Muftau, we're talking Manchester. What's happening?
Were you at the stadium on Friday?
No, I wasn't. I couldn't
Why?
go. Due to circumstances beyond my control.
What were the circumstances?
I just couldn't go.
Your favorite club lost.
I know.
They lost the President Cup to you too.
But still, my blood is red, as you can see. I'm in red. I'm in red.
I see that.
Yeah. In fact, I went to Kumasi.
I see the colors here.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because I needed to speak to Asantehene to tell him that your boys are misbehaving and they're embarrassing us. So, yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about the Manchester Derby. It was the biggest game of the weekend. The 187th Manchester Derby. And guess what? It was Pep Guardiola's men who walked away with all maximum points. This was supposed to be a contest between two teams. Many have said that They are arguably the best teams in England, but unfortunately it became a procession for Manchester City, who walked away with 4-1 win, courtesy of goals from Kevin De Bruyne as well as Riyad Mahrez. They scored 2 goals each, and Manchester United got an a very good goal from Jadon Sancho, but unfortunately it was not enough for them as they extended their lead at the summit of the Premier League table by 6 further points. It was quite disappointing from a Manchester United perspective because considering that this is a fixture they've dominated for a very long time until the emergence of Sheikh Mansour, who invested a lot of money into this fixture, where Manchester City became a power force. They've never been a team that would usually walk away with wins over Manchester United like we saw on Sunday. And even under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, many United fans never witnessed them losing the way they did yesterday to Manchester City. It was quite disappointing to watch because, especially in the last 25 minutes of this game, where Manchester United collapsed entirely. With Manchester City actually leading 3-1 in this fixture, the ball possession was 92-8. And if I'm winning 3-1 and my ball possession is 92-8, it clearly tells you that Manchester United have got their very issues that they have to resolve. And I think maybe by the end of this season, I'm not sure, Ragnar will still be in charge of Manchester United. Reports have emerged already that they're looking at a potential replacement for Ralph Rangnick, and they're looking at the Southampton manager to be the potential replacement for Ralph Rangnick at Manchester United. It was a terrible performance. Many people feel so disappointed about Manchester United's performance yesterday, including their legends, especially someone like Gary Neville, who said it was quite disappointing to see the output of the players in this game.
All right, thank you very much, Muftau.
Thanks for having me.
And that's it for Joy News Desk. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. I'll catch you at 12 o'clock for Joy News today. My name is Mapito CBD.